welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kristen Langford. I am a pre-K teacher in Florida, and this is a long overdue weekly vlog. It's been rough around here the past 2 weeks. I actually did record my weekly vlog last week when I was feeling fine. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but it ain't good. I recorded like on, I think it was like Wednesday and Thursday, and then I got my camera back out to record on Friday, and it was like saying that I needed more space. So then I turned on the camera to delete, and I accidentally deleted my Wednesday footage, which was like most of the video. It had like the most stuff on it. So yeah, that was unfortunate. I tried to look up like how to recover it from your camera SD card, and it was just like such a process. So there went that video. And then now it is Friday of the following week because I've been sick. Last Friday I started feeling bad, so that's when I was gonna record for like literally 2 minutes just to wrap up the video, and I didn't have a voice. And then over the weekend it got worse, and all week I haven't had a fever. It's just like congestion, coughing, losing my voice. So yeah, now it's Friday and I'm finally kind of feeling okay, and I need to record a video because it's been so long. It's gonna be a little different. I'm going to just basically go through a couple things that we've been doing for like the winter month in small groups. Not very organized, just all the different activities that I have. And I also want to talk to you about something that I'm gonna be maybe changing in my schedule. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a pile of stuff that's in front, and I'm just gonna pick it up, talk about it, show you. Some of it we did last week, some of it we did this week, and just fun activities. Okay, the first one that I'm gonna show you is this paper. We have been learning about measurement. So the first week we did the difference between tall, short, long, and short. And then week 2, we did heavy and light. And then we actually wrapped up our unit by going to the science STEM lab and using balance beams to like compare weights. And then this week we focused on putting things in order by their height or their length. So we worked on things on the rug all week, like putting ourselves in order based on height. We played like a computer game that I found online where you had to like move the buildings to put them in order, things like that. And then on Friday, when we don't do small groups, I did like kind of like an assessment piece. And there's a million of these on Teachers Pay Teachers, but they're all in like units, and I didn't need to buy a whole unit, so I just like made this. And if I have time, I'm literally gonna throw it up on my store for free because it took me like 5 minutes. But shortest to tallest, this was a freebie clip art, so I just added it down here. And we basically just cut off the paper, cut the different flowers, and then they had to place them in order. And something that was like a, not misconception, but something that I didn't really think about until it happened was they were all very successful at putting them in order, but they went backwards, like tallest to shortest. And it wasn't because they were doing tallest to shortest, they don't really understand left to right yet. So anyways, that was a teachable moment. So we glued them on, and then they got to color, and it was easy, it was simple, and it was a good assessment. All right, and then next week will be our last week of the measurement unit, and we're gonna like dive into some non-standard measurement. Nothing too crazy because they're gonna do a lot of that in kindergarten. Next is just a bunch of resources for small group games, math, reading. They're like all mixed together. The first one is these snowmen, just simple clip cards. It has a 10 frame. They are really good at this, so always when we throw it in there, it has to go with something else because they're very good at this, but I'm still doing it because I want them to be able to recognize that it's 3 without even counting, and using a 10 frame really helps them. All right, this is from Miss P's Specialties. Okay, a lot of the times I'll just like search on Pinterest, freebie, winter math, and then it's a lot of blog posts, and you have to add your email, which is kind of like, I'd rather than be on TBT. But anyways, 1 week we did these shape patterns, which every time we do pattern blocks, we have to borrow them from kindergarten because pre-K has bought us a million things in this classroom, but they haven't bought pattern blocks. So matching for the lower group, talking about the different shapes, especially the hexagon for the older groups. All right, another one. Oh, this one's from prekinders.com. All right, another one is Winter Shape Bingo, a review of shapes. Basically, it was a lot of review. Like we did new learning during whole group, but some of the small groups with Miss Sam and Miss Whitney, or just review. And then my group, we would work on the skill. This one does not have a name, so I don't know where that one came from. I have 2 more things here. These are not math anymore. These are a reading activity, and this is kind of like a little bit of a schedule change too. I have a time where I do my poetry on the rug, but like it's kind of getting a little redundant. Like I still like to do the poetry because there's a lot of things you can work on with the poem, and then just like getting that fluency of a poem, but it takes like 2 minutes. And I'm like, okay, when they were, you know, younger in the beginning of the year, 2 minutes was all we needed, but now we can extend and we can add more. So I've been just using my literacy games that I find online to do like a whole group fun activity, or I have things like this. Like I had this from 1st grade and I've never used it, but I decided to get it out because the way I used it in 1st grade is different. But in here, it's just like simple little like words, almost like vocab words. And so this one says, why does a teacher give homework? So sometimes I'll ask the question and see what they say, or if it's like a new word, I'll say, what is homework? And we talk about like what it is. And then on the back, it'll also give like a fun fact sometimes. Did you know kids spend twice as much time on homework today than they did 30 years ago? So it's mostly like building vocabulary, just a fun little thing. And usually that's a time for them to share stories. Like if we did that one, they'll be like, my brother has homework, or my brother has to do homework every day, things like that. So they just get to have conversation. Another thing that I'm going to start using, I haven't done these yet, but I did these last year, are oral language prompting cards. And it just has a photo and it just promotes that oral language. So we're just kind of pulling in some phonemic awareness from the poem, but also that oral language piece. Some of the games that we did the past 2 weeks, this one's a really good one. I wish if I can find the link to these, I will link them down below because they are really good. But sometimes when it's from Pinterest, it's hard to find the link because it's from a few years ago. But they're little snowmen, so it's like a big piece, and then there's like a middle snowman and a small snowman and a hat, and it's compound words. So I like lined them up. I lined up like all the small ones, all the mediums, all the large ones, and then I would, when it was their turn, I would say the word on the hat. So this one is fireman, and then I would say, okay, student number 1, what is the first part, like the first word of fireman? And they would say fire. And I would say, okay, come find the fire. And then they would find it. And then I'd say, okay, what's the second word? Fireman. And then they would find the man. And then the third person's turn, I would say, okay, let's put them together. Fireman, come find the fireman. And then a cute little fireman. And they put the hat on. So super cute, simple, engaging, because it's a snowman. And it was only like a 5-minute activity, whole group. And it works on waiting, because they're gonna have lots of times to wait in kindergarten. All right, and then the other one was, we do a assessment called STAR. It's through Renaissance Place. And one of the things that they keep putting on there is they'll have like 3 letters, like L blank N. And they want the kid to put what letter is missing. And I've noticed that my kids, even like the really high ones, they struggle with that. So this was perfect. It's little penguins, it's a file folder game, and you just have to find the penguin that goes in the middle. So some of mine aren't quite ready for like the in the middle, being able to like start singing the alphabet. So we literally went A, B, C the whole time. But some of the other ones, I was able to say, oh, can you start the alphabet from here? It's closer to where this blank is. That might help you. And I also talked about how we have a alphabet at the top they can always reference to help them. So that was a good review. Okay, there is another file folder game, which I'll show you when I show you sensory. We decided to put it inside of sensory, and it's like little fish. It's an uppercase and a lowercase, and they are matching the fish from the sensory. We did another game last week in sensory too, but I can't even remember what it was. For books, the first week, we did like weather, like winter weather, and I did vlog about that, so I can link that up here or up here. I don't know which way it goes. And then the week after that, we did snowman week. So we did Sneezy the snowman, and then if I could build a really big snowman, something like that. This is terrible. I'm so tired. But then this week we did winter animals. So of course we did the infamous The Mitten story with retelling, and there's a lot of animals in here. We did the retelling not with the little cards. Last year I had these cards and I had this mitten and I could not find it anywhere, so it's probably still at my old school. We just did it on the board. I had a bunch of animals on there and they had to reference the animals to try and remind them of which order they went in. The second book that we did was a nonfiction book about penguins. And so it's from our district. It's like a Mayan thing. And we just read each page. We talked about what we learned from the photographs or from the text. And we didn't make like a chart or anything. It was just all conversation. And they loved it. And they learned new words like blubber. Okay, let me finish up this crazy vlog. That's like, I hope it's helping, but it's the best I can do for you guys right now. I'm going to show you Play-Doh, show you sensory, and then I'll wrap it up by telling you guys what else I'm changing in my schedule. Oh yeah, and we also finally got some of our curriculum, so about time. Okay, Play-Doh. After a whole week of playing with it, hot mess. Like I said, we're doing winter, so we have snowflakes in here. We have our blue beads that are supposed to be over here. We have our white beads. We also have these silver pipe cleaners. They're snowflake looking. This Play-Doh, this bag. I mean, this is probably the last week of this. This will go in the trash today. And then also, since it's winter animals, we really don't have a bunch of them, so we put some woolly mammoths in here for fun. And then rollers and cutters. This is the game I was telling you about, polar bear plunge letter matching. So it has the uppercase, and then they have to find the little fish that go with the polar bear. The base of sensory has stayed the same the whole month. We've used these blue ones, which I'm shocked that they're still even in here because they're all over the floor. And then cotton balls, some more snowflakes. We have our pipe cleaners. And then here's like the little fish that they can match. Another thing I figured I should show you is the ridiculous amount of show and share posters that are taking over our classroom and my desk. Holy cow. We did make letter B is for bumblebees this week. And then last week we did E is for Elmo. We also got a new student and she's adorable. She's 3 and super cute. All right, and then for cookbook, last week was E. So we made elephant bread. It was just biscuits. You get like a big biscuit and then another big biscuit and you cut it to have an ear, and the middle part is the trunk. You build it all, you bake it with cinnamon and sugar. And then for letter B, we made butterflies. We just did a pretzel stick, like a Y. We did cranberries as like the head and then like little cutie oranges, peeled it, and they made the little pieces. Also, a little sneak peek. Next month, we're doing a flower shop, and this is gonna be the watering can and how they hold the flowers. It's super cute. And finally, our pre-K Picasso wall. We're putting our art projects up here, right next to our art. Okay, yikes. The other camera is like brighter than this one, but something that I'm thinking about changing is after lunch, we have a long day compared to my other school. So after lunch, we have been doing like some yoga, or it used to be go outside for a second time, which is what they really need, but we have to share our playground with kindergarten, and I don't really want to go out on the playground while kindergarten's out there because it's just too much kids. We're gonna figure that part out. For now, what I'm thinking about doing is they need some more like fine motor practice with like fun things that are simple, like scissors or beads, or I mean, there's so many ideas out on Pinterest. So I'm thinking after lunch, we'll come back, we'll do our poem and our little oral language thing. That'll be quick. And then I'm gonna open up at the tables just 3 different fine motor activities. And it'll be for the whole week. And then they just get to pick what table they wanna go to. They could go to the same table every single day for all I care, as long as it's working on fine motor. So I think I'm gonna start that next week. I have a couple ideas. I'm thinking about making like bead bracelets, hole punching little holes in paper, and then maybe like a cutting station where they're literally just the extra paper we have from projects, they're just cutting it however they want. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted. But I'm glad I got this video done. Hopefully I get it all loaded up. We have crazy soccer every single weekend with my daughter, and it's just been wild. But I hope you guys are enjoying what I am able to get out. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to put them down below. I also have loved your ideas for cookbooks, so I'm gonna look into some of those things to get ready for next year. And I think that's it. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and a notification bell if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.